Hi, this is Fred from Homunidents, the channel on history and board games. For those of you who follow that channel and who are gonna find that video because you're a subscriber, I would like to provide a bit of context. Aside from being a wargame reviewer, I'm also a wargame designer, and I'm currently working on a new project called A Gest of Robin Hood. This game is heavily inspired by GMT Games' Coin series, and that's because the objective of that specific design is to make that series a bit more approachable to a wider audience. To do that, the design focuses on what makes the series hard to get into: game length, number of choices per faction, and complex victory conditions, among a lot of other things. The following video is a playthrough of the game at its current stage, so it's still a very early prototype, the components are designed by me, and some mechanics are still gonna evolve in the future, so this is not a reflection of the final product. And this was recorded as the conclusion of a design workshop that is happening on the Coins Players community on Discord. And for this specific game, I will be playing with Joe Dewhurst, which is the developer of that game. And along the way, during the game, we'll talk about specific design choices that happen to get to that prototype, and also design choices that we're thinking about for the future. I'm already sorry for the sound quality. You have to know that this was recorded last minute on Zoom, so it's not always perfect, but I think it gives a good overview of what the game is, and give some interesting insights about the development process and what we think the game is going to be in the future. And for those of you who see that video and might be wondering if I'm going to get back to talking about playing war games, please don't worry. I have a lot of videos coming up, wargame reviews, designer interviews, and a lot of interesting surprises that I think you'll like. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any question, obviously, just put them in the comment section.
Welcome, Fred, back to discussing your game, A Gest of Robin Hood. The format we're going to have for this chat is me and Fred will first talk a little bit about how the workshop's gone and some of the feedback he's got. Then we'll play, and while we play, we'll also discuss some of his ideas for the future of the game.
Thanks for the intro, Joe. So maybe just a few points about the workshop itself. So first of all, thanks to everyone who played the game. That was pretty cool. Especially thanks to Saverio, who helped me in recording the video that explains a bit the rules and the mechanics. That was also pretty very nice from him to help me out with it, and actually helping us in recording that stream. So that's pretty cool. It was interesting to have the game being played by people from the Discord server. I had some really good feedbacks, and I think I would say it actually confirmed some of the things that we wanted to do. For me, it confirmed a couple of things. First of all, that there is something to be done with that game, so we should probably keep on doing some development and refining it, because there is definitely a potential here. So that was very nice to see, that it was fun to play, that it did its job as a short introductory level coin game that was fun. So that was a cool thing. And I think regarding the development itself, it showed some of the things that we were a bit worried about when we were discussing the game before starting the workshop with Joe. And there is one thing that always bothered us, and that was the carriage mechanic. I would say it's one of the interesting mechanic of the game. So I would like to keep it here because it makes a lot of sense. It's thematic. It's what makes the game a bit different from other coin games. It's just that it felt a bit fiddly, and we definitely saw it in the playtest. Like, it was one of the things that was the hardest to keep track of, but it did generate fun. Mechanically, it did work. It's just that it was a bit hard to remember how it works and to play it well. But we've had some discussion on the side. The idea was to not change the game while it was being workshopped, so we didn't do any modification of it. But in the back, we actually had some discussion, and I think we have some pretty good ideas on how to change it. For me, what would be the immediate next step after that workshop is actually take into account all the feedbacks that we've got and start working on a new version of the prototype. And there are a couple of designers, coin game designers, that are actually interested in trying the game. So I think getting feedbacks from them would also be really interesting. So once the new version of the prototype with this revamp of the carriage mechanic is in place, I think the next step for me would be to have one game with Harold and one game with Morgan. And actually, Sean suggested something really smart, having them play against each other and just learning them the rules. That could be actually an option, and then see where we go from there. I don't know what you think, Joe. Then I have some specific points that I can address, but I don't know if you had any major ones that you wanted to mention.
The carriage was the major one. I had some other thoughts, but we can talk about those later maybe. And yeah, I think the workshop was really positive and really useful. Good for you to see what people think about it. And as you say, good to get some positive feedback. So good to know that the game is at least interesting, something worth doing. And I think getting Harold and Morgan to play each other would be very fun if we can set that up. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe even we could try and film it so people can watch that. That would be a fun little experience. But they might not want to do that, so we'll
check with them. Maybe one of them will get embarrassed by an epic fail or something like this.
What I suggest we do now is we could start playing, and then maybe as we play, you could comment on some things which don't seem to work quite right yet, and we want to change. And then at the end, if there's any other major things, we can. I'm just changing to the right faction. Yeah, if there's any other things at the end, we could go through those.
Yeah, and we won't explain the rules at the beginning of the game, but we'll probably explain them along while we play, and maybe comment about specific things that we are thinking about updating.
Yep. Do you want to build the deck? You know how to do that.
Yes, I'm okay with building the deck. Actually, we had this a very nice moment with Saverio last time we played together, where we were completely synchronized in building the deck. And it was oddly satisfying. That was actually quite cool.
So you were helping each other build it?
Yes, yeah. It was a pure, and there was no words exchange. It was
that's really nice.
That was super cute. Yeah, that was was one of my
that level of connection with you.
Yes, but I think it's it's pure chemistry. You cannot control it. Like I didn't knew Saverio, but there is a thing is that the two of us building it, we're made to build a deck together. It's like there is a strong connection just for building decks, apparently, because apart from that, he doesn't like interacting with me, I think, but making decks.
Fred's got a real thing for design in Tabletop Simulator. He said before that he really enjoys watching me re-upload cards, because I have a very tedious way of doing this. I do each card individually just to be sure, and he enjoys watching me upload cards one at a time. He says it's a kind of calming video to watch.
Yes, and I think there is a very small niche for TTS ASMR. And I would really like this to grow. I don't know if there is a lot of potential audience, but I'm definitely into that.
So if anyone is looking for a new podcast or whatever to do, that's it. You'll get Fred watching immediately.
So I just made the deck, and just as a reminder, so the idea is that you have 5 normal events, 1 tempo event that is a lighter event where you have to think a bit less about what to do, and then you always have the ballad at the bottom. So it's always 7 cards. So now you have 21, and it's 3 ballads of 7 cards.
Actually, the tempo cards is something we could talk about briefly, maybe. So I'm not such a big fan of them. I'd be interested to see what other people's thoughts are on them. I don't like them because I get confused and forget that there's a tempo event coming up and think I'm going to have at least one more full turn or something, and then don't get one. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that your reaction to tempo events is a very expert reaction to it, and you're optimizing the number of potential plots and essays that are I'm mixing everything together, ops and essay or plots and deeds in that case that you are going to be able to do during a campaign. And you have that whole thing about you feel like the cost of opportunity cost of the tempo event is a bit high, and as someone who plays a lot of coin, I understand that point of view, where you come from, but maybe I should explain the reason that I have behind making tempo events. I made them because I think that when you are a new coin player, one of the things to struggle with is actually all this, the opportunity cost, knowing what to do, when to take the event, not to take the event. And I wanted in each ballad to have a sort of
a bit of breathing room for a new player, where they would have an event where they don't really have to think about it. It's like, oh, it's there, this is happening, and I have a bit of time for myself. I know I'm going to do just a limited op. We're going to stay in order. I don't have to think too much about how the initiative is going to change, and I just have a bit of space to breathe. So yes, it has an opportunity cost in a game that is rather short, but the reason I'm not too bothered by it is that because only people like Joe are bothered by it. So it makes me think that it's probably a good thing.
Yep.
But I do agree that there is one issue with the tempo events today, is that there are 3 of them. 2 of them are pure tempo events, and one is a fake tempo event that I just put as a tempo event, but it's actually not a tempo event and creates confusion. But we can obviously discuss about it. But the other thing about the tempo is that it doesn't prevent people from still winning on campaign 2 or on ballad 2. So it feels like even though you have 1 card per ballad that is not an action, it doesn't prevent people from winning the game early. So
I mean, I think even from an expert perspective, I would just need to get used to it. So if I kept track of the fact there was one of those in there, it would be fine as well.
And we start by a tempo event. So the tempo
but
event,
this isn't a tempo event. This
but
is
that's
in
the thing.
fact just a normal event.
Yes, it is, and that's the problem. That's the only problem with the deck, is that this tempo event is the only one that shouldn't be called a tempo event. Or I should change the way it's written, and just say that maybe the first eligible decides where the bridge is being built, and the second one gets something for free.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it works, really. I think this has just become a normal event, which either faction can take, which is fine. I think several people pointed this out or were confused by it, so yeah.
Yes, and there are actually some people who were wondering about the actual strategic impact of building bridges.
Yeah.
And that's mostly due to the fact that most people don't see the rivers on the board. so
let's have a look at these.
Yes.
Here so Bingham only borders Remston until you build a bridge. You can even build a bridge straight to Nottingham, right? If you want to.
Yes, exactly.
And also Newark, so you can build one to Newark, and then you could also build one up here between Retford and Blythe. But I would say probably the most important places for the bridge are either Bingham to Newark or Bingham to Nottingham.
Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe for Robin Hood, you might want one here between Sherwood and Bingham.
But that early in the game, it's actually hard to know where would be a good spot. The only thing that I know is that I don't want it to be here. So because that will make sure that when you seize in Bingham, you can throw your carriages directly into Nottingham. So it becomes a second main field. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take the event, but I'm going to prevent you from taking it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with plot only. And just for the sake of visibility, I'm going to do a recruit action, and I'm going to use the white pawns to show where I'm going to do it.
And you can recruit potentially in more than 3 places, right? I mean, in this case, you can't. But
no, it's always the plots are always up to 3, and one deed is up to 2, and the last deed is always 1. So it's 3, 2, 1 always. So in Ramston, I can recruit because Ramston is revolting to the sheriff's authority. But because I don't have a base, I'm just going to place 1 guerrilla here. Oops. Okay, so we know that this one is not Robin Hood, but we knew that already because Robin Hood is always on the board. In Sherwood, I have a base, so it means that I can actually bring 2 to the board. And then in here, should I place a base? I don't even know where I left Robin Hood. I didn't change it, actually. So I need to check if Robin Hood is here. So I'm going to bring stuff into my private box.
I think he isn't. I think I know where he is if you haven't changed him. But I'll ignore that knowledge.
And okay, so then I don't have to really worry about it. And when I place a base, I have to remove a merriment. So I'm going to remove a merriment and place a base here. And that would increase my VP by 1. And that cost me 3.
These coins are really nice, by the way. Did Duke do them in the end?
Yeah, Duke did the coins. So he took that picture that Sean found about of a coin that was actually pressed by Prince John in the 12th century. So it's an actual coin of the era.
King John by then, but yeah.
Yes, King John by then, yes. But and he made a 3D element of it. Yeah.
It's really nice. If we could use these for the game, that would be
awesome. Yeah.
I don't see why we couldn't. Anyway. Okay, I've got a good plan. Fred's made a big mistake, but we'll see. Maybe he did this on purpose. I don't know. So I will patrol, and I'll use one of these as well. So I'll patrol. This is just a limited patrol. I will move 2
Ah, but you tricked me. You told me that you knew that he wasn't there.
And this will reveal. Oh, I actually didn't think he was there.
Oh,
So
man.
it reveals him, and that cost me 2 coins. And this is going to be a terrible start for Fred.
But you told me, I know he's not there, but I would not take into account that knowledge. And I was like, oh, he's wrong. So that's
I actually thought he was here. So there we go. I didn't think you'd do something so stupid. Okay. There we go. And now, because this is actually one feature of the 2-player sequence of play, which is interesting, so I will now immediately be able to take my turn. But let's see how this event. So Little John, this is quite a nice momentum event for Fred, which is good because he's going to need this. But immediately then, I am just going to, I'll capture and seize, actually. So capture in here. So I capture Robin Hood. Does he go to prison? Yeah.
Yeah, he gets to prison and he gets
And this goes away.
automatically freed at the end of the ballad. But it's still
But I gained 3 legitimacy.
Yes, 2 for
So
Robin
2,
Hood and 1 for the base. So that's why I'm a bit sad. And which means that for the whole ballad, I won't be able to do heroic deeds because Robin Hood is in prison. So I'm pretty handicapped, which makes that momentum card pretty useless because I won't use heroic deeds that much.
Yeah, so here are 2 things I want to talk about, actually. So let's talk about these now. The first one is the opportunity cost of taking these momentum events or capabilities. So there are some which put extra travelers in, which are basically capabilities.
Yeah.
But in both, so even more with the momentums, I think in a game this short, we might need to add something like you get to do a limited plot as well on these, just because it's a very big cost currently to take these events.
Yes, and I agree, and that's also one of the things that I was bothered by is that you will never get you will never take a momentum card if it's not one of the first 2 of the ballad, which makes them, and there is a 66% chance that they're gonna come up after that. So adding the option of either gaining something from it, whether it's resources or the opportunity to do a limited plot, would be nice.
The other thing is, as you noted, now that Robin Hood is in jail, you can't do epic feat anymore. You can only donate. And I think having all of the Robin Hood deeds so focus on both on Robin Hood, but also on shifting to revolting. So really, both of their deeds, their primary use is shift things to revolting. And one thought I've had is that it might be nice to add an extra deed, maybe for both factions, even just to give some other options here.
Yes, and I think that's a really good point. And the thing that I was thinking about is having one of the thing that is in the epic feat going into the donate feat, which is when you have a merryman in a place that is already at revolting, actually maybe activating it to get some money from the peasants. So it would be a way for you to generate revenue in a space that you shifted or something like that.
So they could donate to you if they're already at revolting, essentially. Yeah. So a suggestion here from MBSP 1618, which I found out recently stands for non-breaking space something. Anyway, the suggestion was that the momentums could be, rather than just for the ballad, they could be a card you hold and then maybe use at a later date for something. So maybe like more powerful one-use powers or something.
That could be nice. And that could actually be a way to do one thing that I wanted to have that we didn't put in the game, but because it felt a lot like one faction in Root. But I was thinking about maybe having cards that are a quest. So you take them, and when you fulfill the condition, something happens.
Yeah, I think even in that case, they'll need to be very powerful either way. Just because, again, in a game this short, spending a whole turn doing nothing is really quite big.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, I'm also going to seize. Sorry, just being really horrible here. I will seize in Mansfield and I need cubes, don't I? So I could seize in Ballad as well, but that's maybe risky. I'll just seize in Mansfield. So Mansfield will switch to revolting, and I can add up to 4 shillings.
Oh, wait a minute. I should actually be only at 3 because I should have lost the VP when you remove the base.
That's right.
Well.
So I'll show the audience what I'm doing. If the audience wants to tell me how to use my cards, they're welcome to. But I'll do this one and another one. There we go. Good. So this is how the cards go down. Do you want to say anything about thoughts for the cards, or shall we save those for later?
Actually, I would be happy to talk about what are the things that we've been thinking about for the cards. So you came up with, I think, the perfect idea for the cards themselves to make them work. And I teased it to Saverio already because he said that he couldn't join, so I wanted to let him know about it. But the idea is, rather than having so many cards and then you have to choose the value that you want to have and you choose how many cards you want, but you just have to go up to 4 and it's super tedious to explain and to figure out. The idea is to remove all of this and have just 3 types of cards that are still hidden, but you don't know what each is, which one it is. And the 3 cards, the 3 kinds of card is the value card, so the card that is actually containing 5 shillings. So when it gets to Nottingham, it generates 5 shilling for the sheriff. There is the gift card that when it reaches Nottingham, it increases the legitimacy of Prince John. And then there is the trap card that just has a strength, but is like Guy of Gisborne. So if the Merryman attacks it and fail, they actually go to prison. So you would only have 1 card each time you seize. They will be each like very archetypical. So like one does this, one does this, one does this, and it's easier. And the whole idea around how to make them move after on the board, rather to tie it to operation, the idea would be to have a movement value on each card. So at the beginning of the sheriff active phase, on the top right corner of the card, you will have the number of movement points for his card this turn. So it will give him a number of cards he can move. So that will streamline the whole process.
That wouldn't be so different to now, but it means that the sheriff doesn't need to like try
remember.
And remember. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
They instead just have a clue on the card.
And you would also have always the cue on the card that will remind you, remember to move the cards, which is also something that got forgotten quite a few times.
Yep. It would disconnect how many cards move from the sheriff's choice of action as well, which is maybe a slight power boost of the sheriff, but we could see how that works, so that's fine.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute a limited plot. And I'm going to execute a limited plot from here. And I'm going to move to Nottingham.
This is what I did last time we played.
Mansfield. And I'm wondering, should I leave 1 or should I be cocky and go in Blythe? No, I will keep 1 here just to keep you on your toes. That's going to cost me 1. That's going to be my limited plot. Yes, now that I'm actually in Mansfield, getting that momentum, which card it is? It's the 3rd card of the Ballad, which means that each time you're going to leave a carriage from Mansfield to Nottingham, I'll be able to rob it.
Or you could just try and rob it now. Yeah,
that's true. And you couldn't capture because we were in revolting, so that could be fine. I think I'm going to just do a simple limited plot, or no. I'm going to do plot only. And I'm going to do 3 rob actions. So I'm going to rob in Ramston, I'm going to rob in Sherwood, and I'm going to rob in Mansfield.
Yep. So yeah, Mansfield is safe because I need 2 cubes to capture.
Yes.
And you chose not to in Nottingham because it would have been very difficult for you. You would need to roll.
Yeah, I need to roll.
You just have it. So.
Yes, and I have the white die, and I would get captured as soon as I rob. So I'm not ready to rob in Nottingham. If I can move another guy in Nottingham, then I would. But now is a bit risky. So I'll start with the traveler robs. So I will start with Sherwood. So I reveal my guy, and I get a traveler from the traveler pool, and that traveler is a monk. So that's 2 straight because monks are lame. Well, when they fight, obviously, I don't make a statement about monks overall. It's just that they are...
Maybe some of them are actually sympathetic as well. They just give you the money.
Yeah, they probably just give me... Yeah, that's a good point. Then I will rob in Ramston. So I didn't roll for the monk because they don't have a strength. So there was no... wait a minute,
So I can't remember if anyone asked about this, but in the current rules, it's right that you need to activate all of them when you rob, right?
Yes.
But you've considered an option maybe where you can let the...
In the original version of the rules, you actually chose how many you wanted to activate for a specific rob. And I think it gives for more interesting decision making, but it also made it a bit more complex. So we did streamline this. So that's a monk again. And people can see I shuffled before because I wanted to make sure but it's still a monk, so that's going to be 2. So I'm back to 5, and then I'm going to rob in Mansfield. So when I rob in Mansfield, now I have a choice. Do I want to rob a traveler, and then I will roll against that traveler, or do I want to rob against a carriage? And I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that one of those carriages is a 4 value carriage. And its strength would be the number of cubes in Mansfield, and there is only 1. So I think it's a 1 in 2 chance. So
Do you reveal the card before you roll to rob
it? Yes. So I will target this one, and I will reveal it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, that's good. Perfect. So now
but you need to roll it.
Now I need to roll in that case, because now I'm rolling against something that has a strength. So because I'm attacking a carriage, the carriage is defended by the cubes. So I have 1 strength because of my 1 merryman. And because we are in a revolting space, I'm going to roll that green dice. That is the advantageous dice. If it was in a submissive space, I would have to roll the white one. That is pretty bad. So if I roll a 0, I'm good, and 0 and higher up is good. So we'll see how it goes. Oof! And there is a -1, so I could have failed. So that was a success. This one gets out, so I will put it back, and you can remove the dummy.
Yeah, this one has to be a dummy, so I'll take this too. Are they out until the end of the turn?
No. You can put them back in your. You can put them back in your reserve, and that's going to be 4 coins. So that was a very successful series of robbing action across the Shire.
But that was stolen goods in the first place. You were just reclaiming it for the people.
Yeah, exactly. And I will donate soon.
Yeah. So I have learned from my mistakes. Can I train in Mansfield? I can't, can I? Because I would need cubes. I would need more henchmen, and I don't have enough.
Yeah, no, you can train in Mansfield.
Can train. Yeah, I can train in Nottingham though, and place down 2. I will do that. That costs me 2, and I put 2 down in Nottingham.
And
nice.
that actually comes to something that I really want in the game, and that might add as a advanced rule. But I really like the idea of knowing 1 step ahead what the next event is going to be, because obviously I would have radically played differently if I knew that Richard of Lee was going to come up.
Yeah, I think so. From my experience testing various games with 2-player initiative tracks, I think there are issues with that, but we could try it and see how it goes. Yeah, this one. So this one actually is important for it opens up the top of the board more and makes Retford more important. In my experience, I don't know how other people have found it. Often the action really focuses down here around Nottingham for obvious reasons. It's important, I think, for particularly the Merrymen player to move out at some point to spread opposition.
And personally, each time I won as Robin Hood, it's because I actually managed to flip this and this.
Yeah. And
it made it very hard for the sheriff to come back. So most of the action is going to be here, but if you manage to decentralize the insurgency, you actually get a really good shot at winning.
Yep. And I thought about this a bit, and I don't think this is a problem if some of the board doesn't get used so often, because lots of existing coin games are like this. And it's nice just to have the option of having some other spaces on the board which you can use, even if you don't. And I think sometimes having those options is worthwhile. So, for instance, in Fire in the Lake, there's this weird 0-pop space for Cologne, which is barely ever used, but I think it's interesting that it's there, and sometimes the VC do use it. So yeah, it's fine. Having said that, I am going to take the event, I think, because it's a free legitimacy increase, essentially, for 2 resources. There we go. Oh yeah, this is actually one other thing which I keep telling Fred to do, and he doesn't want to. I like it when the events tell me what's happening on each option. So it should say something like ally of the sheriff or something. Richard of Lee joins the sheriff. But for some reason, Fred doesn't want to do this.
Yes, and just for the story of Richard of the Lee was actually a noble that was getting racketeered by the authorities. They kept his son in prison, and basically they were just putting him under pressure to get his money, but also get his submission. So the idea would be that you get resource and you increase your legitimacy because you have a strong control over part of a noble, basically. And the other way around would be actually Richard of the Lee supports Robin Hood, gives you some funds and turns to revolting. But yeah, we could. That's for development. To add
so it would be nice if they said something like pushed into revolt, or Richard's son is returned to him, or something. That'd be nice story, I think. But yeah, as you say, that's not really essential at this stage of the game.
But I think you're right for making the storytelling aspect more appealing, especially as we're hoping that it would be like for a wider audience that would make even more sense.
Yep.
So you took the event. That's a bit annoying.
You have loads of money though.
Yeah, I have a lot of money. That's the thing that I'm thinking. I'm wondering if I should take the initiative and see what event is coming up, and then be more aggressive. But then I don't need money. That's the only problem. But I don't need a plot and special. So I'm going to do that. We'll see if it was a mistake. That has a big opportunity cost, but really want to see what's coming up next.
See, it's interesting that you said take the initiative, whereas to me that feels like the absolute opposite thing. But that's fine.
Yeah, but no, that doesn't work for me.
I think this one maybe should let Robin Hood escape if he's in prison, as an alternative option or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because in these stories, he always gets captured and then gets out again. So actually, in an early version of the game, I think before it was revealed to anyone, you lost if Robin Hood was captured.
Yes.
But we found it made it way too risky either way. So basically, you just had to hide Robin continually, or it made sense for the sheriff to very aggressively go after him, and that wasn't really so much fun.
It wasn't very fun. It was easy to know 2 turns in advance if you already lost, and it made a lot of the events way too costly because revealing Robin Hood was suicidal, and you almost never used the deeds unless you were alone in the north, and that didn't feel really thematic. I'm gonna recruit here, and here. So I'm gonna
put boosts your score as well.
Base in Ramston, and I'm gonna put 2 guys in Sherwood. And the reason I really wanted to have a base in Ramston is that at the end of the Ballad, I can my merrymen have to go back to either forest or spaces with a base. And if I don't have a space with a base, it means that everyone goes back to the forest, and then I have to redeploy, which can be quite annoying. And that costs me 3 shillings.
Oh, I don't have enough money. Okay. So if I had enough coins here, and I had a plot and a deed, which I don't have, could I just patrol a single cube into Ramston and then use raid to capture both of these?
Actually, you could, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have enough money for it, but what I could do is pass and do that, though. Maybe I'll do that. It would be very expensive, but it might give me a nice position. I'll have no money, but never mind. Yeah, okay, so I'll pass for 2 coins.
And maybe that's actually a problem. Yeah, no, but that does work.
With the design? You mean it's too... Yeah. Actually, this... Oh, I thought it was maybe the Ballad. I'm not counting, so... I've turned off the overlay, so I actually can't see how many cards are in each stack. I could just take the event and increase legitimacy by 1, which would be cheaper.
Yes.
But... What's your event here? Shift to Paris with merry men to revolt.
I cannot
decrease Prince John's legitimacy.
I cannot.
So can you only... This is something we should explain in the rules, actually. Can you only take an event like this if you can carry out all of the parts of it? Or could you do this just to decrease my legitimacy by 1 step?
And for me, you can take the event even if you can... If the event doesn't require you to do something. In that case, the first half requires you to be present to shift a parish, so that I cannot do, but I could still decrease the legitimacy.
Okay, good. This is just something I think maybe all designers should bear in mind when you're writing these rules of card events, to make it clear what you need to do to be able to take an option.
And a good way for that would be... A good way to do that is just to add an and/or preposition in the middle, so you can actually...
Yes, that's right. Yep, that would do it. Yep. I was just thinking about that. I have to think hard about or because of my training has corrupted my understanding of the English language, so I no longer know what things mean. I don't know what all means anymore. Okay, yes, let's go. So I am going to do the more costly thing, which I said before. So I'm going to patrol into Ramston and then do raid, which I actually haven't used very much, so I'm interested to see it being used, which lets me immediately remove 2 pieces. And it would shift it to revolting, but it's already revolting.
Yes, so actually raid is really intended that it's really good if you're using it in spaces that are,
Yep.
And
he gets to prison, right?
And that's going to increase your legitimacy by 1.
Yep, and it lowers your score, so it's like a 2-point swing, which is also worth bearing in mind in these games.
Yeah, which is a bit annoying, and I think I will just take the event, which is is it a good idea? Yeah, I'll take the event and decrease your legitimacy. I don't have that many options of decreasing your legitimacy, so I feel like when I have the option, even if it's I think it's worth it.
I think it is too. It's much harder for you to hit my score.
Yeah. And then we're going.
This should be the ballad.
Yeah, that should be the ballad.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Cool. So,
victory. Yeah, nobody's at victory. Then I get 1 shilling per base, which sucks so much because I only have 1, so that's really bad.
That's another reason to do what I did actually. Yep.
Yeah, and then I can do a free rob action, and there is no reason for me not to do it in here because they're going to be reset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a knight. So a knight has a defensive value of 2. My attack is 3. So I'm going to roll against.
Will you pass automatically?
Yes, I will pass automatically because the lowest value is -1. So that's a success.
Yeah. You should roll the dice anyway, though, or else all the luck will get mixed up.
Yes, good. And I would have a -1, so it's good. Now the -1 is used for something.
Exactly. Yep.
And that would be completely superstitious, but I like it.
Free cards. Yeah.
So that's 3 coins. So I have a lot of money though. That is probably good.
Probably more than you need actually.
Probably more. So that's my resource phase. Now I can donate. The problem is that there is no space where I could donate. Robin Hood goes back on the board.
And you can put him anywhere or just where?
No. But there is the reset anyway right after. So it doesn't really matter. So I put him here and then I will be able to shuffle him around. And then 1 out of 2 will go to out of play. Oh, yes, it's rounded down. So actually this guy is lost.
So what happens to him?
Yeah.
All the kids in the audience?
So he doesn't die. He doesn't get hung. He actually goes back to his parents, think about what he's done, and go back to working the fields. It doesn't mean that maybe someday he won't join Robin Hood again, but for now he's just taking a break from the revolution.
Good. Okay, so what do? I remove half henchmen in revolting parishes. Is that rounded up or down?
That's rounded down. So if you only have 1, you're good.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yep. Okay, good. Yep. Okay, and then I get 3 shillings plus 1 for each submissive or with cubes. So I get 1 shilling for Blythe and 1 for Remston because I control it, right? But I don't get 1 for Mansfield.
No, but you get shilling from all the others.
Oh yeah, that's Blades. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. So I get 9. Wow.
Yes.
So I should have 10.
Yep.
That's loads. Then I can perform charity. So this is anywhere where I outnumber the Merrymen.
Yeah, so that would be
Remston, and I'll pay 2 to do that. So that goes back. Very good. And then I think I gain legitimacy, right?
Yes, because there is more.
Greater.
Yeah, there is more submissive than revolting.
Nice. Good. One thing. So I'll ask Fred about this now. Actually, one thing I find at this point is it's very often going to be the case that the sheriff gains a legitimacy at this point because they get a chance to do charity before they check to see if they lose it. Is that intentional? That
yes.
They'll normally be gaining 1 every ballad.
Yeah, because because the idea is to also give them a path for gaining victory by also good governance, you could say, making sure that people are happy and not just by focusing on killing Robin Hood and the Merrymen. So it's a balance that you're trying to find between repression and actually being just securing.
So they almost have 3 paths to victory actually. So they can do good policing, they can seize wealth, and they can just keep people happy.
Yes.
We're done, right? So if I had any carriages, I would move them once, and that might change with the new carriage movement. And then henchmen need to move back to submissive spaces and merrymen to forest and bases. So I need to move this guy from Mansfield, and these ones from the forest too. So I will put 1 in Remston, and I can put 1 here, can I? Yep. And I'll put this one up in Blythe. Okay. And yeah, like you said, unless you have bases out, this is really quite a big reset for the Merrymen.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
It's right by them, and they need to spend quite a long time moving around again. And have you? So is that again quite intentional? Rather than keeping people in space.
The idea that I wanted to push is to make sure that people understand the importance of like having a strong organization to be able to mobilize around the country. If you're limited to the forest, then you're limited into the south. And to your point about the south being the center of the action, I think it does make sense because the story actually mostly happened in the south. And one of the inspiration of that game is wait a minute. Is that game? I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was released. I think SPI did or was it SPI or Avalon Hill, and then it was Operational Studies Group that released the second version in the early 70s. But and actually in this one, it's only the south. The north is absolutely not represented, and it's cool. Yeah. Why was I saying this?
I can't remember. It's
about the base. Yeah, just to say, yes, expanding to the north is actually giving you more strategic options. So building a network of bases is something that I want to incentivize.
In an earlier version as well, right? Blythe was cut in half, and so was Tuxford, maybe? Yeah. So there was a lot more spaces, but it was just too many. Next one. Prioritous of Kirkless, and Robin Hood is first.
Yes, and I don't want, and I don't want Robin Hood to be always revealed, definitely. So I'm going to do plot only, and I'm going to do 2 sneak action. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sneak from the 2 forest space, and that first sneak is going to be 2 merrymen coming here, and the other one is going to be.
One other thing, which I think is very intentional on Fred's part, is that the movement for the merrymen here is more like the historical coins, where they move out of spaces, right? Whereas the sheriff patrols into spaces. So how they pay for movement is quite different too. And so it makes it quite cheap for the merrymen to just suddenly spread out from the forests like this.
Yeah, and I need to not. So I will only move 2 because if I move 3, because this one is submissive and has a cube, then I will have to reveal them. Mm-hmm. So that would be my 2 actions, and that costs me 2 monies.
I'm just gonna do a limited. Oh, I know what I can do. Hey, this is funny. I'm gonna do a limited patrol again.
Yes. Yeah.
Is Fred doing this on purpose? Who knows? Okay, so that costs me just 2. Did I pay already? No. Oh, I did. No, I didn't.
That's fine. No, you didn't. Yeah.
Yep. Good. And then I can get his space again. So that's carriages. Robin a space as if you had 1 extra merryman, or you move your carriages 2 spaces per action. Cool. But I won't do that. I will just take. I can take limited, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll capture that guy, who's not Robin Hood, and his base. I don't think Fred's very good at this game. Okay.
Cool.
He's got more money than me. Let's see.
I feel a bit stupid. No, I know what
I shouldn't be too mean to you.
Yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recruit here and here.
Yep.
This one is gonna go away and be replaced by a base, and this one is gonna go away. So that will give you something to look for while I do other stuff. And then with my special action, I'm gonna donate here.
Yep.
Because I have more merrymen than henchmen, so I'm going to shift this to 2, and that's going to cost me 2 for the donate and 2 for the recruiting action. So that's going to cost me 6.
I really love these coins. I think it's a very nice idea. It would get out of hand for if you're playing Fire in the Lake and trying to use oven dollars, piastres or something. But this is nice.
Ooh. Tax collectors. This one is good.
Seize and revolting parishes. I'm not sure I need to seize here.
No, you don't need it. but in other cases it can be useful. Like for example, if you make a stronghold in Mansfield, it's actually good to have this because it means that you can keep on seizing and in Mansfield even if they are without having to ship them back.
Cool. I'm gonna patrol into Mansfield just for 2, and I have to move 4 in because it's revolting. So I need 2 for each. So I'm basically coming in here and I had to actually fight all the locals to try and capture the space if I want to. This isn't as powerful as my last move because Fred does have a chance to respond, so he could recruit in Mansfield if he wanted to, which he might do. Or we can pass, indeed.
I can pass.
Yeah. So another innovation of Fred's, which I've taken for my 2-player Cuba Libre variant as well, is passing gets you first priority, even above Lim Up, which gives you this nice option, which he's doing here. That's because he wants to see the next event, I guess. Oh, it's one of these.
So that's
an
tempo
actual
event.
tempo event. Yep.
So that
this has come just in time for me.
2 coins and 4 for the sheriff, which is not necessarily something I'm happy about. Fire attack. Too late. Too late for you, fire attack.
Yeah. So let's think about this. If this was the momentum plus you get 1 limited, maybe even a free limited action or something, would you take it?
Yeah, I think so. I think
it could set you up, right? You could take that and then move into Newark or something.
Yeah, and that would be definitely something that I would want to do. So that would make sense if I could take an action also. But in that case, I'm gonna do for plot on me, and I'm gonna recruit in Mansfield. I'm gonna recruit in Southwell. And I'm going to recruit in Tuxford because it's revolting. So now my base is going to be protected here. So Mansfield, I'm going to place 2 boys that are going to be hidden. So they're going to protect my base.
Yep. While you do this, our audience says comboing with a sequence of play is great. Not quite an addition, but so much emphasis on it in Gest. Do you mean being able to think I'll do a limited plot followed by something else the next turn? Something like this that you can combine over 2 turns? Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. So it's a feature of a 2-player sequence, but I think in Gest it becomes particularly important. And it's actually a feature in some of the other coins, but people miss it, I think. So in Fire in the Lake, for instance, you can do sweep with Arvin, and then the US can advise, and then immediately attack those people you've just swept. But it's not so often that people think to do that. And look, even with all I said about Fred being bad at this game, he's not doing so badly now.
That's going to cost me 3.
One thing I like about this game, so in earlier versions it was much more economically tight, which me and Fred I think both quite enjoy, but this one feels much more open. So even though Fred's running a little bit low on money now, and you need to think about it a bit, it's not so much that the whole game ends up being about starving the other player out of resources, which some of the 2-player coins, particularly Colonial Twilight, can really feel like, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And you still have to think about the economy, obviously, especially as the sheriff, because you can run low on money pretty fast. But I think the first one was not. It was making it pretty hard to play, and I think it didn't really align with the objective we had for the game. Made the economy a bit more. I made it rain. Like there is a lot of money in Nottingham now.
With Raid, you choose which pieces get removed, don't you?
It's the Robin Hood player that chooses which one are getting removed.
Because otherwise, so the reason I was asking this is I could have passed and then just raided in Mansfield to remove the hidden pieces and then captured the others. But I have to patrol first, like this. So I'll still be able to do what I want to do. It's a little bit more expensive, though.
No, you won't, because Mansfield is revolting, so you capture 2 per 1.
No, you'll see.
You've got a plan. He's got a plan. Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually, so I was skeptical that raid was ever going to be useful, but I've used it twice in this game, so... okay, trap. Execute a free sneak action. All move merry men become hidden. Yeah, whatever. And
this one can be pretty cool if Robin Hood is revealed. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So what I'm going to do is capture here.
Oh, what a dick move.
Yes. Yep. I'm trying a new strategy of being really aggressive and then raid. So that costs me 3. But I'm raiding where the peasants already hate me, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. So get rid of that one and get rid of that one.
That's really good. If we go to a 3rd ballad, I'm going to really have some problems.
Yep. MBSP has to go, but he says congrats on a solid game and looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Nice. Cool. Thanks. Then I guess I'll go for.
One thing I really like about the game, and I want us to make sure we emphasize, is that there's these multiple routes to victory, and that's maybe more for the Sheriff than Robin Hood right now. So that's maybe something we could consider. But it's nice that as the Sheriff, you can play several different kinds of strategy.
Oh man, the ballad already.
But I don't win, right?
No,
So
you don't win. But it's gonna like the third ballad is gonna be super tough.
Yeah.
So victory, no. 1 shilling per base. Okay, so that sucks. Oh, actually, that's 2. It's not too bad. And I will be able to. So that's the thing that's going to be pretty important for me in third ballad, even if I would have less merrymen available, is that I will be able to start from Tuxford and not only from the forest. Yep. So that's going to be pretty cool. The other thing that is good is that you're going to lose 2 cubes in Mansfield. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Should we put these back in the ballad?
Yes. Yeah, they should have been put back
at reset.
At the reset.
Yeah. But yeah, I lose these 2 from Mansfield.
But let's do it in order. No, okay.
Yep. Oh no, sorry. Yep, you're right.
So
you rob.
Yeah, I rob. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna rob here. He has a strength of 1, so there is no choice for me to fail because I'm at 2.
Yep.
And 3 actually. So I'm gonna get 3 monies. Okay, so that was my free rob. And now I could donate, but I'm present nowhere where I could donate, so I'm a bit stuck.
Nope.
So that sucks.
Oh, prison.
And prison.
2 of these go back home.
Yeah, so I have 2 of them who are going back home. And now, the number of merrymen I have for Ballad 3 is, But I have a few of them on the board, so it's okay, I guess.
Yep. Half of my henchmen here desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. It might be nice eventually to give names to these steps so we know what's happening. So like they're deserting or something. 3 shillings plus 1 for each submissive. Yep. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that's going to be 9.
Yep. 9. Yep. Again, it seems to be a pretty standard number. And then I will pay to restore Mansfield to submissive. I think also calling this something like dessert would emphasize some of the more coiny aspects. So like that all of these henchmen, they come from these towns. So it's actually in some sense like quite hard for them to be doing this job. It'd be cool to see. And then you can explain it to your children that that's how this works. That's how to oppose an oppressive regime. If submissive perishes, it's great for revolting. Yep, so I can get 1 more legitimacy. Now I'm in my winning threshold, and I need to move this guy back somewhere. I'll move him to Nottingham. Oh, and you move yours. Yep. But you managed to establish this place here now, which is good, because that will give you access to Retford and Newark.
Yes.
That's good.
Cool. That's the plan. We start with a heavy rain, which is actually pretty good for me, because I'm going to do a sneak action. And I'm going to sneak from Tuxford. Oops. Oh, that's not right.
Do you pay for this one? Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you do pay, but it's just that the both of us are doing a limited action.
And you can donate 2 spaces. Okay. So I probably need to just give up on these 2. I think it's going to be hard for me to reach them. So I was thinking about pulling my old trick again, but Fred's going to be going first, so it's going to be harder to do. I will train, actually. And I'll train in Blythe. Will I train in Blythe? No, I'll train in Nottingham. There we go. I just get 2, right? It's not.
Yeah, you place.
I feel like at one point you got 4 for training in Nottingham.
Yeah, but that was before.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was insanity. Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, could be good.
Oh yes. That would be really good.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be double base. Do I need it?
Unless I can go and destroy it, which.
Yeah, but that would still be first eligible, so I could do some recruits. Yep, I'll do that, and that will increase third one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just thinking about how to do this. Maybe I should do this the old-fashioned way, play the game properly. Okay, what will I do? Yep, I'll patrol here. Oh no, if I leave, I see this is where you did this. So if I leave there, you can donate there.
Yeah.
Which I don't want you to, so maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll train first, because I can train just to place 1 in Remston, right?
Yes.
Good. And then I can seize in both. Oh, that just gives you points.
Yeah, now you can seize in Mansfield and Remston. And the good thing is...
I don't think Yeah. I'm not sure it makes sense for me to do that, though. We'll see. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry, what were you saying? The good thing is that they would be kind of safe.
Yeah.
I'll actually just train in Blythe.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the other thing that I was thinking you might do.
And I will season Mansfield though. I think that's fine. Currently, I can give both gifts, right? I could get the 4 coins and give all of them to
Yes,
Prince.
exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do you know, for a really long time, until I started working with Jason on testing some games, I thought that if both factions were over the threshold, you went straight to the tiebreaker. So often, the guerrilla faction would win or something. I hadn't realized that it was whoever was actually highest above that threshold.
Yeah, it's the difference. Very different. Yeah,
because it would mean in this kind of situation, for instance, I would, instead of trying to boost my score higher, just focus on lowering the other faction's score, which is really very different.
Okay, so I think I'll do not in special. I'm gonna recruit in text forward, and South Sherwood. I think I'm just gonna pile the base.
Yep. They've got them in the trees, like in all the films. Right?
Yes, exactly.
They're nice.
So maybe 2 in text forward, 2.
This is the first time I've seen the peace limit as well being relevant. So the fact I've taken these 3 out of play might actually be important.
And then I'm going to do the epic feat, and I'm going to reveal Robin Hood and shift no work.
So you did this instead of doing 2 donates? I guess it's cheaper?
Yes. Oh, but I'm thinking, wait a minute, I have a doubt actually, because I'm not in a rush. Yes, because I cannot do 2 donates. Okay. Because in Blythe I cannot do it because I don't have enough money there.
You could in Retford though.
But that would be only 1. So I cannot do 2 donates. I can only do 1. Because the only place where I can do it is Redford. Yeah.
Yeah. I just meant if you didn't do an epic feat, but that's fine. That's okay. Good. Cool. Oh yeah. So one other thing I've been talking about with Fred, I don't know if he's going to go this way, but currently the only way, so he can't donate in Blythe because he doesn't have enough people, but he doesn't have any way to get rid of mine except by kind of tricking them into moving elsewhere, which I think is quite an interesting dynamic. But one thing I've considered is giving the Merrymen some way to remove maybe just 1 henchman at a time or something, like an ambush skill or something. But I'm not sure if we want that. There's something quite nice about the Merrymen being mostly kind of pacifist at the minute. Okay, I will take a limited plot and I will train again in Mansfield. And I can train and then charity, can't I? Yeah.
So you would place 1 cube and then pay extra 2 to perform charity.
And then I can move 1 carriage.
Yes.
And it's this one. I just made it 2 because I don't know why. But I'll give that to the Prince.
To Prince John, okay.
I don't know why I didn't just make 1 of 4, really. It's strange. But wouldn't work anyway. It's a nice event if you can do it.
Yeah. But that's the thing about the quest, if this was something that you knew you could activate in the future, that would be actually quite fun. Like, that it's an option that you have. It's like, instead of doing an action, you reveal and say, I have the Potter quest, so I reveal Robin Hood, and that could be a bit fun, I guess. But yeah. Your first, I'm thinking, how can I do? I don't think I can win. How many cards? I have 2 cards to play. I think I can reach 8, but I don't think I can get to 9. That's the only thing.
This is where a bridge would be great, right? If you had a bridge between Newark and Bingham, it would really change the games,
Yes, exactly. And I was actually thinking about putting a bridge there because I know that if I manage to build a stronghold in Newark, it means that I can pour through the south from another way. But I thought, no, it doesn't matter. Planning, that sounds stupid.
Sorry, my partner's laughing at me because Newark is actually a very boring town in the UK where people only go when they're changing trains because the UK train system is a real mess. And there's 2 train lines which go up and down the country and they come close at Newark, but they don't actually cross. So to change, you need to walk. Anyway, you need to walk about 10 minutes between Newark Northgate Station and Newark Southgate Station. So if you're ever traveling up and down the UK, bear this in mind because you can get really stuck if you're trying to change trains there. Not one train station. So
to be fair, in the game, it's a pretty boring.
It's a pretty boring place in the game too. It's true. And I was thinking about whether to try and attack Tuxford or not, but I think I probably shouldn't. I think I can just play it safe right now.
Yes.
Oh no! Did I just done? No, that was my lesson. So I should do a limited up now and move this in, basically. Yeah. So I'll do that. Unless she's... Oh, no, I want to take the event. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah. Because I can seize without doing anything.
Yeah, that should give you the...
I mean, there's not really much time to move them, but I can at least put all these in Mansfield. And I'll put some in Remsen too. Sure, let's just put these ones down. Doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. I think also, so these having 2 carriages and splitting the costs doesn't... At the minute, you really just want 1 of 4 and 1 of 0. There's not much point doing anything else.
So I'm going to do 2 sneaks. So I'm going to sneak from here, and I'm going to sneak from here. Those 3 guys are going to come in here.
Okay.
2 guys are going to come here.
Nice. Yeah, it feels like you've got your thing going now a bit better.
Yes, and now and with my special, so that's going to be 2 sneak. Oh, no.
You can just do the 1. If you leave the space undefended, you can afford it.
Yes, yeah, and
which you should do. It's hard for me to catch it right now, I think.
Yes, that's true. So that's gonna cost me all my money.
Yep.
So 1 sneak and 2 donates.
Yep. That's good though, puts your score up to 7. So the whole north of Nottinghamshire is in revolt now. And the whole south is an economic powerhouse.
Yes.
I think it's true. I don't know so much about the industry in Nottingham, but I think there was some important industry during the Industrial Revolution. The red cap. Not the main guy there. The red cap's the guy in the bottom. I like to tell people this. This is the red cap down here. He's almost off the picture.
Yes, but he's not as cool as Robin Hood on the picture.
I know, but I think, who's that cool guy? He looks like a kind of anti-Robin Hood. It's like like a kind of Mortal Kombat palette swap or something to have a new character. The red cap. But no, that's just Robin Hood wearing a red cape. Okay.
You probably don't want me to take the event, I guess.
Donate any parish. But Robin Hood's not really...
Yeah, but I can still decrease Princeton legitimacy.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll just take up only. But I can only afford 1 up. So I can only move 1 of his carriages. That's stupid. Oh well, I'll do that. And I'll move 2 of these. Actually, I'll move all of them down here. Then I'll move this carriage. Let me just check. This one? Nope. This one. Okay. 4. And I'll take
1 gift and 2 money? Or all of it?
I'll take all money, actually. I think that makes more sense. Yeah.
Ah, putain de merde.
That's it.
Okay, I'll do
and even French children will know you're swearing.
Yeah,
so that's okay.
I'll do a limited plot, and I would just Robin Blank. Please give me a fat traveler. Oh, monks. It's not
What's the proportions in here? Is it?
So it's 4 monks, 2 merchants, 2 knights, and you can replace one of the knights with Guy of Gisborne, which you didn't do, but you could have. And that's the event that we have, the last event of the game?
Yep.
That's the bishop. I would have loved to have this at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
What can I do? I can't do much. I have 2, which is a bit dumb, but I know what I'm going to do. I have 2 coins, so it's pretty straightforward what I should do. So I'm going to go for limited plots with my last one.
And just put bases.
I'm going to recruit in 2 spaces.
Yeah.
But that won't save me, unfortunately. So I'm going to recruit here and replace him by a base.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I'm going to do is recruit here to save the base. Yep. So I'm going to put 1, and then in a very classic coin fashion, I'm going to take another piece from the board.
Yep.
And place it here.
The thing is, you're not going to save the base. Oh no, I can't do a deed. I wanted to raid again. I really love raid now. I used to think it was rubbish, but it's good. That's fine. I will just do a limited one, and I can just do something. I can train in charity in Tuxford.
Oh yes, you can. Oh, so annoying. Oh.
And then I can also move a carriage. This one should have 2.
Yeah,
I'll
and
give
you can
that to
increase. Yeah, and go
Prince John.
up to 10. Yeah.
Nice. Good. That was quite close though, and you had a really bad start. So
Yes.
that's nice.
Yeah. Losing Robin Hood at the beginning and giving you
Yeah.
3 straight away was it was super stupid. But good. But that was it.
Cool.
And I would
Good.
say there were some questions about the balance of the game. Maybe we should finish with that. I saw it going 2 ways. And for me, the balance of the game really depends on which faction Joe is playing. So that's really the thing. Usually Joe wins with any faction. So I don't know. But I think just the dynamic are very different. I'm not sure we have a big balance issue for now. It might be more straightforward to play with Robin Hood at the beginning. But I think if you play the sheriff well, you can actually crush Robin Hood also. So yeah, I don't know if there is. I don't see any balance issue for now. But when we'll have a more stable prototype, when we change the carriages and some of the events, we'll see where it goes, I guess.
Yep.
What do you think?
Cool. Yeah, I think that's right. I feel like the sheriff's probably slightly more powerful right now. And in the early game, early on in the design, it was the other way around. But that's something it's easy to change. Yeah. No, just one thing. So I feel quite like there's enough money for the sheriff, so I don't need to use carriages for money so much. But then I did run out of money at the end, so who knows? Maybe I'm just playing it well or something. Don't know.
No, but I think the money thing, we'll see if we need to adjust it. But I'm always tempted to have less money. But I realize that it's only fun for a limited number of players to have to balance the economy. And you still have some issues with money, so it forces you to actually take economical actions along the game. So I guess it's what it's supposed to do in a way. But
that was really fun. Like it already feels like a fun full game, and we played it I think in about an hour, which is pretty quick.
Yes, because we discussed at the beginning, in an hour. Yeah. So that's and while chatting and talking about the design, so that's pretty good. But cool. Thanks for watching. We'll keep players posted on the development of the prototype, I guess. So you can either follow Joe and me on Twitter to have some updates, or join the Coin Discord server, obviously. But I'm thinking about going a bit more public about the prototype, especially if I play with Morgan and Harold going forward. But definitely. I was at some point, and you know that, Joe, I was actually thinking that it would never work and I should stop. But I'm really happy that we continued and that you could help for refining some of the mechanics, because now it does feel like a fun game that just requires a bit of development, but it's actually quite fun and does what it's supposed to do. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. We should thank Sean as well. He's not here, but Sean was always the partner in these things. He helped so much.
Yeah. For me, Sean is the perfect early playtester because he has a very small filter, so he actually is pretty open about how he feels about a game, and he's pretty open to insulting the designer even when he's there. So that's pretty cool. But you have strong feedbacks, useful feedbacks, and without him, I think the game would be boring. He made the game fun, definitely.
Cool. I think left to our own devices, me and Fred would make really boring games, but Sean tells us to make fun games, so that's good.
Yes, I think he's the voice of reason, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Have a good evening.
No worries, thanks, Fred.
I need to stop the recording now.
Yeah, say bye, everyone.